Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, taking care. Hare Krishna. Yes, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai
Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. श्री श्री गौरीताई की, श्री श्री राधोल भगवान की, श्री 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 जगन्नाथ बल सुभद्रमय की, शिल प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रवंदे। हरे कृष्णा। Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming for this pravachana of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the most auspicious thing that we can do today. So today's Śrīmad Bhāgavatam we are looking at is seventh canto. So chapter 2. The title of chapter is Hiranyakasipu, the king of the demon. And the verse number 40. So this verse 40 offers some examples of supremacy of the Lord in terms of protection. So the supremacy of Lord Sri Krishna can be seen in many ways. One of them is in protection of sadhus or devotees. So before we go deeper into this verse, so let us invoke auspiciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So this is verse number 40 from chapter 2 of Canto 7. So this verse is actually spoken by Yamaras in the form of boy. First let us read word by word and then we read the whole statement, so it will be more easier. Pati Choitam Tishtati Dishtaraksitam Grahe Sitam Tat Vihatam Vinashayati Jivati Anatahapi Tat Iksita Vani Grahe Abhiguptaha Asyan Hata Na Jivati. Pati chuita tishtati dishta rakshitam. Pati chuitam tishtati dishta rakshitam. Grahe stititam tad vihatam vinashayati. Grahe stititam tad vihatam vinashayati. Jivati athatopi tatikshito vani. Jivati anato api tad ikshito vani. Grahe abhigupto asyaya hato na jivati. Grahe abhigupto asya hato na jivati. Pati chuitam tishati dishtan rakshitam. Grahe stititam tad vihinam vihitam vinashayati. Jivati athatopi tad vikshito vani. Grahe abhigupto asya hato na jivati. Pati chuitam tishtati drishta rakshitam. Grahe stititam tad vihatam vinashayati. Jivati athato api tad ikshito vani. Grahe abhigupto sahato na jivati. Pati chuitam tishtati drishta rakshitam. Grahe stititam tad vihitam vinashayati. Jivati anatopi tad ikshito vani. Grahe abhigupto asya hato na jivati. Pati chuitam tishtati dishta rakshitam. Grahe stititam tad vihatam vinashayati. Jivati anathopi tad ikshito vani. Grahe abhigupto syata na jivati. Pati chuitam tishtati dishta rakshitam. Grahe stititam tad vihatam vinashayati. Jivati anathopi tad ikshito vani. Grahe abhigupto syahato na jivati. Tad ikshito dishta rakshitam. Grahe stititam tad vihatam vinashayati. Jivati anatopi tad ikshito vani. Grahe abhigupto sahato na jivati. Pati chuitam tishtati dishta rakshitam. Grahe stititam tad vihatmam vinashayati. Jivati anatopi tadikshito vane. Grihe bhigupto sahata na jivati. So now let us read what translation. Pati on the public road. Chuitam some possession dropped. Tishtati it remains. Dishtaraksitam protected by destiny. Grahe at home. Sthititam although situated. Tat vihatam struck by the will of the Supreme. Vinashayati it is lost. Jivati remains alive. Anataha api although without a protector. Tat iksitaha being protected by the Lord. Vane in the forest. Grahe at home. Abhiguptaha well hidden and protected. Asya of this one. Hata struck. Na not. Jivati lives. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki. Sometime one loses his money on a public street where everyone can see it, and yet his money is protected by destiny and not seen by others. Thus the man who has lost it gets it back. On the other hand, if the Lord does not give protection, even money maintained very securely at home is lost. If the Supreme Lord gives one protection, even though one has no protection and is in the jungle, one remains alive. Whereas a person well protected at home by relatives and others sometimes dies, no one being able to protect him. Purport. These are examples of the supremacy of the Lord. Our plans to protect or annihilate do not act, but whatever He thinks of doing actually happens. The examples given in this regard are practical. Everyone has had such practical experiences. There are also many other clear examples. For instance, Prahlad Maharaj said that a child is certainly dependent on his father and mother, but in spite of their presence, the child is harassed in many ways. Sometimes, in spite of supply of good medicine and an experienced physician, a patient does not survive. Therefore, since everything is dependent on the free will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, our only duty is to surrender unto Him and seek His protection. Om Ajnana Trimindasya Jnananja Salakaya Chaksurulmitam Ena Tasme Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapadaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswadevi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachata Deshatarani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Let's read this translation once again. Then we go deeper into each of those words that are noted in the today's verse. Sometime one loses his money on a public street where everyone can see it, and yet his money is protected by destiny and not seen by others. Thus, a man who lost it gets it back. On the other hand, if the Lord does not give protection, even a money maintained very securely at home is lost. If the Supreme Lord gives one protection, even though one has no protector and is in the jungle, one remains alive. Whereas a person well protected at home by relatives and others sometimes dies, no one being able to protect him. So just to put this verse in a context, this the chapter Hiranyakashipu, the king of demon, it starts with introducing situation when Varadev has killed Hiranyaksha. So at that time, Hiranyakashipu and his relatives, that is, sons of Hiranyaksha and the wife of Hiranyaksha and also mother of Hiranyaksha. The mother of Hiranyaksha is Diti. So they were very aggrieved. So this is a very difficult situation. So at that time, Hiranyakashipu first reacted very angrily, and he ordered that all these people who are following Brahmin culture to be destroyed. He sent some demons to earthly planet to put fire to houses, buildings, temples, and in those places he also ordered that remove murti in the temple. If you have Vishnu murti, take it out, destroy, then put Hiranyakashipu's murti. So he created a lot of havoc. Then that is the order he has given to his army and all his followers, and they did that. Then after that he comes to home in hope everybody is in a great situation. So they are in full of soka and lamentation that Hiranyaksha has died because Lord Varadev has killed him. So at that time, obviously, family members are all crying, lamenting about the situation of death of Hiranyaksha. And family members includes many. The direct family members of Hiranyaksha, one is his 9 sons. Hiranyaksha has 9 sons. And he fortunately had only one wife. Usually those periods they tend to have many wives, but here he had only one wife and 9 sons. And they were in big lamenting and crying. Then of course Mother Diti, mother after all her son, Hiranyakasha, he had died. So she was also lamenting. So at that time, what did Hiranyakashipu do? Hiranyakashipu first he can join also cry. But he was a king, very king and very proud about his position, what he has achieved. So he was almost able to control all 3 worlds, upper planets, middle and the lower. Even the demigods used to fear him. So he didn't cry, instead he took very courageous position, then started pacifying family members. How did he pacify? In fact, he started pacifying just like Lord Krishna speaks to Arjuna when he was lamenting, how can I fight and how can I kill my opponents? And who are my opponents? Oh, Bhishma Dev, very dear to me. Dronacharya, my guru, and many of my relatives. So at that time, Lord Krishna has explained, you are lamenting for things that does not deserve, and also explains your actually soul, and he explained the qualities and characteristics of soul, and how soul transmigration from one body to other body. So, and then ultimately, by the will of providence, all this happens. So that is how Lord Krishna has consoled him. In the same way, Hiranyakashipu has started, inspiring or consoling the family members. So you have all heard about the previous verses where he talked about how soul is pure and non-destructible, even if you kill, what you are killing is the body, not the soul. The living entity is never killed. Living entity is always eternal. Satchidananda, eternal. Just like Lord is Satchidananda, living entity in pure form is Satchidananda. It can't be killed. So the living entities will take next body. And he also talks about based on karma, so he will assume next body. So in this case, he is killed by Supreme Lord. So therefore, he might have merged into God liberation. So he was, giving very nice teaching. So very much like we can say, smasana vairagya. So when people die, at that time people become very philosophical. So sometimes you see in India, so they carry a dead body on shoulders and take it to smasana, a crematorium place. And then till then, from home to that place, they say, Ram Nam Satya Hai, Ram Nam Satya. Like this, they keep on chanting. They say, only Ram Nam is the truth. Lord Krishna is the supreme truth. And what they're saying that in our life, we should simply dedicate ourselves to Supreme Lord. Then after they come back, after a few days, they forget, then they do their usual business. In fact, even Hiranyakashipu also did the same thing. You will see later, other chapters talks about how Hiranyakashipu became, so troublesome for everybody else again. Anyway, this is like a, Prasana Vairagya Gita by Hiranyakashipu. But the teachings are very powerful. So whatever he taught to his family members are very powerful, something good lesson for us. We can take it whenever we also come across challenging situations in life, including, the most challenging can be death of family members. So these are very nicely explained. And in that he also not only gives instruction, but he also wants to give some examples. So this is when Hiranyakashipu picked up example of the death of a king called Suyajana. So there, when the king was died in a war, so how family members were very attached, and they were also crying, lamenting, and not letting their body to be taken for crematorium. So this was going on, and they were crying so loudly. This was even heard by Yamadev in his planet, correct? Yamaloka. Yamaloka is not near earth; it is very far away. But they were crying so much. So when Yamaraj heard, so he thought, I should do something. Now they are not going to leave the body. Because even though soul has left the body, till the body is cremated, the soul is still hovering around. So if they don't want, if the queens of this king, Suyajana, doesn't want to let this body be buried or burnt, so the situation is grave. So it is job of Yamaraj to make sure that everybody is cleared properly. So he comes down, but he didn't come down in his original form. Instead, he took shape of a small boy and came. Then at the situation, he started speaking. And this is one of the verse today what we have got. So why did he come in the form of a boy? Usually, if some elder comes and starts speaking to you philosophy during this very difficult situation, at that time, people don't take it very seriously or maybe feel offended. But if boy like this little son, if they come and start speaking this Gita, everybody, pay attention. Even if they speak harsh word, also they, take it positively or accept it. So that is one of the reasons why Yamaraj, took this form of a boy. So this is also the supremacy example that is given today, actually in the context of previous work. In previous work, that is verse 39 of chapter 7, so chapter 2 and canto 7, the previous verse yesterday that was spoken. So there Yamaraj is saying that only by the will of Supreme Percept Godhead, this world is created, maintained and related. So it's all by will of the Lord. So, of course, this material creation, what does it contain? It contains Sthavara Jangama. Sthavara Jangama. It contains full of living entities. Some are Sthavara, they don't move, and some are Jangama, that is, they move. And we all know that the living entities that don't move, For example, trees. Only Tulsi Mani moves in this building, in this area, correct? Tulsi Mani is kept there, the pot, so we bring there and put it near Lord and then go back and nourish. But all of the trees that are there, they are not moving, correct? So those are stavara, trees, vegetables, so many living entities. They don't move, they just fixed in one place. Even if there is a heat, strong heat or heavy rain, storm or heavy cold, so it doesn't matter, they are always there. On the other hand, Jangama, that moving living entities. So there are many, like insects move, the ants move sometimes, not sometimes, all the time they move. Even if you go there near Chanamrita, you will see ants moving around. So we try to put them down and sometimes they get killed because you go there to take Chanamrita, you don't notice and you put your foot on that ant, finished. This is like some big elephant comes and puts its leg on our head, what happens? We are finished. Same thing happened to ant also. We are like elephant for ant. So many are moving. Of course, humans are also moving. All these animals are moving. There are moving jangamas. They are moving from one place to other place for various purposes. Humans, of course, more civilized humans who follow, teachings of scriptures such as Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or Quran, or various other scriptures that are there, Bible. So they are a little more civilized. Among those civilized, some of them, karmis, they work very hard and then enjoy the fruits and follow varnashrama dharma, perform a lot of rituals. So then of course there are few who move towards a transcendental path, become grannies, become Ashtanga yogis. Among all those, only few of those become bhaktas. And today we are talking about how Lord protects bhakta, those who are surrendered. So the previous verse also says, being the Supreme Lord, He is completely competent to destroy and protect. So it is only by His supreme will. You can't order Him. You can't order Krishna. Krishna protect this. Krishna give me this. You can't order. Only by His will. So He can protect or He can destroy. He can give you what you desire. He can protect what you got. So He can destroy what is troubling to you. So that is by will. Only by supreme will. We can't order. So He is the supreme. And today's verse clearly talks about His supremacy with some examples. So these are basically examples. So like if you lose something in public street or public place, even though it is visible publicly, it is actually nobody is seen or nobody has taken. But the person who lost it, when he comes, he can pick up, he can get it. So that is the first point, so this example by Yamaraj is giving example. And of course we have personally, here Prabhupada said that everyone has many personal examples. I am sure you also have some examples in your life. But if you see, for example, in public places like this temple, in temple is almost a public place, anyone will come and go. And we also have situations, sometimes we lose certain things, correct? What are the things we can lose? Sometimes you lose a laptop in public places, like in tram or a train. You are going, so we have mobile phone, we have laptops, we have so many things with us going here and there, or sometimes iPad. So you may be doing something on iPad. Suddenly mobile phone comes, you keep that mobile iPad on the side next to you, and you are engrossed in that mobile. And when your destination comes, you get down, you forget that laptop or iPad. So this is a real example. People have experienced that. I don't know whether you lost laptop, but people leave it there in public transport and go. Then after the phone is over, then they realize that they left laptop. So laptop is in public train, public tram. So by destiny, if you have to get it, if there is a protection of Lord, even though many people have seen, nobody has picked up, you go back to the same place or the same train or you will get it. So, I have heard or seen many such examples. Or you lose wallet, sometime you leave it here somewhere. Or maybe everybody is visible, money is there inside full of Australian notes, Indian notes. So our currency are there. We don't know whether somebody has seen or seen, never bothered to pick up. But some person who suddenly remember, oh, looks like while Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class, I left my laptop and or my wallet. Yeah, it is still there. How is it? It is by will of Lord. Otherwise, many people lose. If there is destiny is not there, you lose it. So because the will of Lord, it is protected. Like this, it happens to gold, the coins, the notes, and passports. All things it happens. But if not, Lord is not willing, you can't easily find it. But usually, fortunately, if you lose any material assets in this temple, 99% possible that you will get it. We have a lost and found section, that is one. Or otherwise it is here. Or otherwise somebody picks up and you get it. For example, mobile phone. So one of the devotee who does some maintenance job here, he somehow left mobile phone on one bench and went around. He was serving, came back, mobile phone is not there. So he has come to me and lamenting, Prabhu, I lost my laptop, I have all this contact, now I need to immediately call Anuruddha Prabhu. I need to speak to him and, all there. What do I do? He said, where did you live? We go there and try to search here and there, we couldn't find. Then what is the solution? Maybe we just, call that number. So we just took one mobile phone and asked him, what is your number? So we just, dialed his number. Then other party, picked up. Fortunately, the other party was a devotee. He said, Prabhu, yes, I found. I'm just in another place. I'll come and give it. So if I leave it there, maybe somebody might take away. Therefore, I took it and I'm waiting for somebody to call. So there were some calls, came from grandmother of that person. Picked up by somebody else. But anyway, he got it. So if you lose some material asset, whether they are mobile phone or a gold ring, of course, chanting bead, that is the most important asset that devotee possesses. Whether we consider it an important asset or not, but the most important asset. But if you lose them, 99% we get it. But there are some things we don't get it. Sometimes you see devotees, especially Mahaprasada. They make a plate or put it in, pick up the best Mahaprasada of the day and try to hide it here and there. Then they go and do whatever they want to do. And at that time, some devotees come and pick that up, gone. You come and search everywhere, you don't find it. So therefore, if you lose a Mahaprasada, you can take it for granted. 99% you won't get it back. Because that devotee has finished that Mahaprasada. It is already done and dusted. So you can't get it anymore. Yeah. So the most precious item is the Mahaprasada. So, but if you lose it, you won't get it. So someone who has taken, so he has desired to honor that Mahaprasada. He is not going to hide it. You can't keep Mahaprasada in your pocket or anywhere for too long. So immediately finish it. So that is something you can't get it. That is probably will of Lord also. Lord wanted that other person to have that Mahaprasada instead of you. Because you are simply hoarding that Mahaprasada, taking more than necessary and hiding it here and there. Let it be distributed immediately. Then so that we can all release when it is hot and nice. And you will see this is very common. You go in kitchen, so the Mahaprasada items are lying from morning to evening. So maybe somebody didn't express strong desire to take it, but usually we express strong desire. Like if I go there in search of Mahaprasada, you don't find the thing, then I will just pick up from one of the, either whole plate, or maybe just pick up one item from the plate and go. So no one notice also. But anyway, nobody is so much, they don't try to, look with suspiciousness on you if you try to pick up Mahaprasada item. No problem. Yeah. But Mahaprasada, if you lose it, you lost it forever. So material things, you can get it. And we have experiences of that. Then, so Lord also says here, so sometimes we put valuable things in money, fully hidden, put it in locker, do so many things, but it is lost. These are many such examples are there. Here, for example, during December month, you might have heard that there are a lot of burglaries happens. Especially these robbers, they target homes owned by Indians. Why they target Indian homes? Because they know that Indians have got gold and they keep it at home. Because they have seen, some Mataji's kids, they put, gold, chain and all, and exhibit, open, and then go around to functions. Everybody knows who has got how much gold. And obviously they are not putting in a locker in a bank or some place. It's most likely that they all put it in home. So these robbers are also very smart. They come to home with gold detector, metal detector. What is metal detector? If you are not seen, evening time you go to the beach nearby. There are some people evening, the late night and all. So if the day was very warm, so a lot of people visited the beach and swim in the beach, men and women, children, everybody. And young ones, especially just married, they will have 3-4 gold items to their finger. And they are also a bit careless, they are in their own mood. Then swimming, they lose their gold rings in the water. So evening time, who comes? There are people who come with metal detector. You see the round thing, they go around here and there. When the detector make quing, 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 then they put their hand and take away, they find a ring. So similarly, the robbers also come to Indian homes. They bring metal detectors, preferably gold detector, and when you are not there, they try to search. They break the home or break the window or something, they enter in and then try to search. So most of the time they find it and take away. When you are not there, they finished. This not only happens in Australia, it happens in other countries also. You go to America, you go to Europe, UK. In UK it seems during last 5 years, jewelry, gold or diamond worth of more than $260 million are stolen by thieves from Indian homes. In Australia also, a lot is happening. So often Indian people don't report. When they lost, whom do you report? Even if you report also, nothing happens. If you can't report it to all your congregation, all our friends, they will laugh at you. So just to first we already, lamenting about loss of one, then you tell it to others and they are laughing at you. So it is even more insult. So better not to talk about it. So there are lots of wealth that is lost without, publicly announced. So this also happens. And it is also danger. Sometimes they come and search and they don't find it. And these thieves realize that the family members are in some other room or some other there. At that time they become very angry. I worked very hard to break this door or this enter into your house. Now I search, I can't find any gold. What kind of Indians you are? And then they will beat them. This happened in that southeast suburb. They have beaten families of India for not having gold at home. Correct? Robbing is not easy. They have to jump from fence, take a big risk. Then somehow manage to enter through hole. Then so much of difficulty. Then not find. And then they beat. So this is all very difficult situation. So what it says is, Yamaraj is saying, even though we hide with with the desire to protect it, but it can't be protected, it is lost. So these are some of the examples of the second line. Grahe stititam tadbhitam vinashayati. Grahe means home. Stititam, you put it in grahe, but vinashayati. So that is the second one. So next, the third one. Jivati anataha vane. So a jiva, anatha hai, anatha. Anatha means one who has no shelter, no protection. So this jiva in vana, in vana means in forest, when you go there, let's say you are alone, and very dense forest is full of ferocious animals, sometimes tigers are there. You are without any protection, army or anything, but you are protected at that time because of protection from Supreme Lord. So when the Lord gives protection, even in such difficult situation, person is alive. But so that is the the third line of this verse. But we can see such examples in many places in the life of devotees. So, for example, in Mahabharata, in Mahabharata lasted how many days? 18 days. 18 days, this great Kurukshetra war happened between Kauravas and Pandavas and their associates. So, in Mahabharata, what kind of generals and persons were participating? On Kaurava side, Bhishma was there, Dronacharya was there, Karna was there. So these all are very powerful generals. And on the Pandava side, Arjuna is there, Bhima is there, the Pancha Pandava, 5 brothers, and few others who are supporting Pandavas. And most importantly, Krishna was there. But Krishna was without weapon. So he said, I am not going to pick up weapon in this war, because both are relatives. So I am not picking up. So Pandavas choose Krishna. So Krishna was there. So if you look at the army size of Pandavas and Kauravas, the Kauravas army is almost 2 times more than Pandavas. So the strength of physical strength, army strength, was actually double or more on the Kaurava side. On the Pandava side is weak army. However, they had a Krishna on their side. So this Arjuna was able to defeat many such warriors, generals. They were like Timingalas. You go to an ocean, even if you want to cross the ocean or you want to swim in ocean also there are very ferocious and dangerous aquatic animals are there, like big fishes, sharks are there. In Timingala is, you see in Vedic scriptures, is even more. It can eat even shark also. Timingala, it can eat such. So in this army, Kurukshetra army like an ocean, the Kauravas army like an ocean, and Arjuna is able to move so easily, defeating this, big warriors such as Bhishma and Karna, killing them. This was not so easy. Actually, Arjuna may be very nothing in front of all those people, but he is able to kill because of the protection and will, and also Krishna being on the side of Arjuna. So this here Prabhupada said that the only way we can save is to surrender onto the Supreme Lord. Therefore, we should seek Supreme Lord protection. So Arjuna has chosen Supreme Lord, therefore he came victorious in spite of this ocean of Timingalas. So he was like a small fish, where others were like, shark, big shark. They can easily swallow him, but he is able to do that. And you can see in Bhagavad Gita, the last verse of the Gita, Yatra Yogeswara Krishna Yatra Partha Dhanudhara Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir Nitir Matirmam. So, the first verse starts with, Gita's verse starts with Dhartarashtra's inquiry. The conclusion at the last, after hearing the whole Bhagavad Gita, the Sanjaya concluded. Sanjaya was inquired by Dhartarashtra. Oh, my sons and Pandu sons went to this Kurukshetra, there, what are they doing? Obviously, so many things happened, then the Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Supreme Lord. Then finally, Sanjaya is concluding. He is saying that I have heard all this instruction of Supreme Lord, I have seen the situation. The conclusion is that Yatra Yogeswara Krishna Yatra Partha Dhanudhara Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhuti Nitir Matirmam. Vijayo. So wherever Krishna is, and along with Yatra Yogeswara Krishna, Supreme Lord, with the devotee, so there is always a Vijayo, victory. And that we have seen. And how Krishna, Arjuna, by taking shelter of Krishna, was able to surpass this ocean of army and came victorious. So that is glorifying the supremacy of taking shelter. Then coming to sometime the last verse is 6. Grahe abhigupta asha hata na jivati. Grahe at home. So at home we can protect certain things with so many things. Relatives are protecting you, family members are protecting you, other people are protecting you, your army is protecting you. But person dies. Sometimes if you are very rich, you feel so you are diseased or ill. At that time, you might be able to command the best doctor in Australia, and the best medicine available on this earth. You can get it in within 24 hours by charter plane. Still the person dies. So this is because the will of Lord is that it can't be protected. So, but on the other hand, it happens. Even in this Kurukshetra war, it happened. In Kurukshetra on the 13th day, what happens on 13th day? So somehow this Kauravas managed to, kill Abhimanyu in Chakravyuha. They organize a situation army like a Chakravyuha. Then Pandavas have to get inside Chakravyuha to fight. The only person who knew how to go completely inside was Abhimanyu. So Abhimanyu went inside. Of course, Arjuna also knew. But unfortunately, that day Arjuna and Krishna were some other place fighting somebody else. So here, so Abhimanyu managed to get inside, but he didn't know how to exit successfully. At that time, all these Kaurava generals all together, tried and killed Abhimanyu. And in that, this one person was, playing very key role there. So one of the Jayadratha. So he was the one, he tried to let Bhimanu go inside, others go inside, and he tried to obstruct here and there. He let only this boy go in, then they killed. So the war that day over, and evening time, all the people coming to their respective places. Arjuna and Krishna came, and Pandavas came to their shelter place, and Kauravas went to their place. Then of course Arjuna came back and heard that Abhimanyu was killed, and he was very angry. Of course first he will lament, but he was also angry. What did all this my other brothers doing, Bhima doing, and others are doing? So just I was there away today, and they let my son die, killed by all these Kauravas. He was very angry. So when he was very angry, in anger mode, he also, chastised Bhima. Bhima, you are claiming that you can vanquish all this so easily. What happened to you today? So he started chastising him. Then the Bhima also is also anger mood. Even sometimes Bhima also get angry. He said, it's all because of you. Why? Once I captured this Jayadratha, that time I wanted to kill him, but you didn't let me kill. Because of that, I was not able to protect Abhimanyu, because I was busy in fighting with this fellow, Jayadratha. So at that time, Arjuna said, no, okay, I'm going to kill him tomorrow by sunset. If I don't kill him, I myself going to kill myself. So that was the vow he took. So what happened? So this news went to Kaurava party, and who was the leader? Army commander-in-chief. Dronacharya was the commander-in-chief. So therefore, Dronacharya, of course, the best Acharya and the best, battlefield strategist. Like we need a strategy to win a war. Correct? All these people make so many strategies. So here, the greatest strategy, he is the guru of Kauravas and Pandavas, all these princes, they are learned from him. So he is expert. He organized his battle, the army of Kaurava in very, very unique way, that it is very difficult to penetrate Arjuna and all the Pandavas. Then at the end, they kept this Jayadratha, protect him. Somehow, up to the end of the day, if you can somehow manage not to let Arjuna to reach that point, then, day over, sunset over, then Arjuna is going to die himself. You don't need to kill him. So that is a great opportunity for these people. So they have the strategy. So they did that. Then Arjuna was able to, Arjuna, Bhima, everybody were trying to fight and penetrate inside so that they can reach out to Jayadratha. It so happened that they penetrated to a certain extent. Then even Arjuna also penetrated almost close but not fully. Still a lot more to go. At that time almost sun, coming down, sunset. So Arjuna almost gave up. Now Arjuna pretty much gave up. Sun almost set. Gave up. Then at that time what happened? All this Kauravas army rejoicing. So we are successful. And this Jayadratha, the hidden fellow, he just jumped out and started dancing. Just like David is dancing, he's dancing. So at that time, meanwhile, just few seconds before, what did Krishna do? Krishna wanted to protect. When Krishna's protection is there, you can't fail. So Krishna, he is invisible. His Sudarshan Chakra went and blocked that sun, very little, because it looked like a sunset. When the Jayadratha came out, then immediately Krishna removed that. He said, oh, this solar eclipse. Of course, people didn't know, but solar eclipse. So solar sun has come. So he immediately orders Dhananjaya, that is Arjuna, pick up your Gandiva. So he also told him, not only cut his head, you cut in and also make sure that this goes and falls in the lap of the father of Jayadratha. That's what Arjuna did. When he aimed and left his Puspaka, that the weapon given by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva weapons, will not go wrong. So when he left that weapon, that arrow, so it cut his head. Then the head went straight and fell into the this lap of this father of Jayadratha. What happened? This Jayadratha father was performing tapas. Suddenly when the head falls, he got up. He sees his own son head. Immediately he got up. At that time that head fell down. Then what happened? So Jayadratha father's head was split into hundreds and then died. This is because why did Krishna instructed Arjuna to make sure that this fall into the lap of father of Jayadratha? This is because the father of Jayadratha, so this person, with his mystic power, he has given benediction to his son that anyone who cuts your head, head falls on the person who cuts you, that person will die. His head also split into hundreds and die. This only Krishna knew. Who knew? Arjuna didn't know. Krishna knows. Krishna knows the past, present and the future. Correct? So he's in super soul in everybody's heart. He knows everything. We only know ourselves. And most of the time we don't know ourselves. That's why we talk about self-realization. There are courses in self-realization. And science of self-realization. There's the technology of self-realization. The practice of self-realization. We have so many self-realization. But anyway, Krishna knows as Supreme Lord, omnipotent. So he knows everything. So following the instruction. So this was successful. So Krishna will give you Buddhi Yoga. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about, those who surrender to me, they may not be great Jnanis. But however, I will give them a Buddhi Yoga, right time, so that they can be protected, they can come victorious. So of course, devotees are not always thinking about going and having a fight with somebody and become victorious. When others give you trouble, then only devotees may fight back. They are not like Kauravas or armies that we see regularly that are going and trying to attack other countries for nothing. So the devotees are not like that. So this illustrates that even though the great army tried to protect this Jayadratha, but the Krishna's will, Prabhupada often says this proverb from Bengali. He says, Rake Krishna, Mare Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rake Ke. So Rake Krishna, Mare Krishna. That means if Krishna desires to save somebody, nobody can kill. But if Krishna wants to kill, nobody can save. Even though you may be a small army, just single person, but the big dacoits are in front of you. But if Krishna wants to protect you, no one can kill. Rake Krishna, Mare Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rake Krishna, Rake Ke. So this is, we see this in the life of many, many devotees. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is full of those examples. We can of course take many, today's example, maybe not so inspiring, but in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, if you look at, so this, the later chapters talks about how Prahlad Maharaj is protected by Lord Narasimhadev. Supreme Lord has appeared just to protect a devotee from Vaikuntha Loka, Narasimhadev. Why he appeared in the form of Narasimhadev? Because who was troubling this Prahlad Maharaj? His own father has devised so many schemes and ordered his army to kill this Prahlad Maharaj by throwing into fire, throwing from a cliff, putting into snake pit, so many things, and even administering a poison. So poison also given. Still Prahlad is protected. So it came to a point where he himself directly wanted to kill. At that time, Lord has appeared in the form of Narasimha because this Hiranyakashipu did a great tapas. Then took boon from Brahmadev and asked him to make him immortal. No one can kill him. Brahma said, no, even I myself is temporary. A temporary person cannot give eternity. Correct? If I am an eternal person in the eternal body, I can give you eternity. My myself is temporary, I can grant you that boon, but you can ask for something else. So therefore, at that time, Hiranyakashipu has, give so many conditions. I can't be killed inside, I can't be outside, I can't be killed by a man, I can't be killed by a woman, I can't be killed in daytime, like that. He has put so many conditions that he thought this cannot occur in this world. So that is when Supreme Lord has to appear in a Narasimha form, neither human nor animal, combination. And he has to kill in a right spot. You will hear all that nicely in the later chapter, so I'll keep it for you to learn. So Prahlad Maharaj is protected. So Prahlad Maharaj was always chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. In spite of so many troubles happening, simply chanting, he is not worried about that. But by the Lord energy, he was protected. Then Lord himself has appeared. So like that you will see Ambarish Maharaj, the previous one of this Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, there you will see a great devotee called Ambarish Maharaj. So once, he did, and then Ekadashi came, so did great austerity. So at that time, suddenly at his kingdom, Durvasa Muni appeared. When Durvasa Muni appeared, he had to welcome him and say that, okay, please come and have prasada in our house today. So Durvasa Muni said, okay, yes, thank you very much. He went to a river and to take a bath, and he was just taking leisurely bath and came. By the time, it took more time. At that time, this Ekadashi Vrata, next day. So he had to break, and then just only few seconds, few minutes left. He consulted his Shastric advisors. He said, what do? I have to break this Vrata, but I can't break without feeding this guest. They said, no problem, you can take just a drop of water like this. A drop of water. I'm also thirsty. Let me this opportunity to drink properly. So he just took a sip of water. So it seems like everything is okay. Then Durvasa Muni come. Durvasa Muni has yogic power. Ashtasiddhi. He can see what happened. He sees that Ambarish Maharaj drank a drop of water. He became very angry. So in anger, he became so angry that he wanted to kill Ambarish Maharaj. What did he do? He just plucked his one hair, then created demon, ferocious demon to kill him. Like a fire, blazing fire, demon. Fire like, demon like a fire. It went to try to kill, but it not successful because this Ambarish Maharaj is protected by the Lord. Sudarshan Chakra protected. There's a big pastime on this. Pandavas were protected, we already discussed. Even the Draupadi is protected. When her modesty was being destroyed, trying to destroy all the people in Vastharan, so Lord has protected Draupadi by supplying. He can protect in different ways. Either he himself can come, or he can supply some necessary things. See, like this protection are there in many examples. In Gajendra was protected. Ajamil was one protected. But how? Ajamil, when he chanted holy name, so holy name protected him. Even though he was a great sinner, we heard about this a lot in the previous verses. Even the more recent, Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplace and thrown into Ganga river. They thought this person is dead and thrown. He came out, protected. Who protected? Who was protecting him? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time. So protection was there. Even Srila Prabhupada also protected. When Srila Prabhupada was moving, going in Jaladhut, in middle of the Atlantic Ocean, he had heart attacks, and also the whole wave and ocean was shaking. But Krishna, Prabhupada said that even Krishna is actually riding this Jaladhut. That's why it went smoother. So you can see in the life. Of course, if God desires to kill, nobody can protect. Correct? Ravana, had great blessing from Shiva, not protected. So in all the generals, Karna, Bhishma, they were such a Atirathas and Maharathas, but still they were not protected because Krishna desired that they be killed. So therefore you can see, if the Lord desires, no one can kill. If Lord desires that this person be killed, no one can protect. So therefore Prabhupada is asking us to take shelter, just like Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj, King Ambarish, how they take protected. Their thoughts were always with Krishna's holy name. They were chanting, they became successful. So just to summarize, so you can see the verse clearly talks about all those fours, gives example, illustrates, and that demonstrates supremacy. Krishna is supreme, absolute. So he can kill by his will, and Krishna can protect. And of course, the devotees take shelter of Krishna, take shelter of spiritual master, then they find ultimate success by simply chanting holy name. With this, let me stop here. So thank you all for hearing patiently. So if there are any questions or comments, feel free to. Prabhu, please give Prabhu. Harinam Prabhu.
Krishna protects the devotee. We saying the pure devotees, but else we're not pure. So it's very hard to have faith that Krishna will protect us, and it doesn't necessarily mean he'll protect the body. So what does that mean that Krishna will protect us on the platform of the soul?
Yeah, Krishna's protection is absolute. It is not relative. So it can come in, we say, holy name, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. So in various forms he can protect. So it is absolute. So he may come himself or send through some means, or he send a spiritual matter, send some assistance. We have many, many examples how he creates a situation in life of a person to protect. Even the Jala birth was protected. There were many, some of them due to some fault in one. It is a Lord desire. But we might think that, oh, how did this Krishna make my finger cut? But maybe this has got some other, protection later. So he protects in different forms, shapes. Yeah. So we have to have a full surrender. Otherwise, we have some surrender, but we think that okay, we need to have material means to protect us. But they can take us to little certain way. Then finally, they will also, not successful. So having great doctors to protect you, having great medicine to protect you, they may elongate a little bit, but at some point finished. Yeah, so we need to seek absolute protection. You have? I hope it makes sense, Prabhu. Yeah, so, yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the nice class. You say that it is Krishna's will whether he protects us or not. But doesn't it depend on our endeavor and bhakti? If Krishna is happy with our determination, will he not protect us?
So yes, I agree with you that we also need to make endeavor. We can't be just irresponsible and jump from some top building and say that Krishna will protect. If demons come and push you, and at that time when you see Krishna's help, definitely. But if yourself is jumping, you can't protect. So yes, we have to make our endeavor, and we need to use our judgment, then seek Lord protection. Yes, through bhakti, we develop connection to the Supreme Lord. So when you connect to Supreme Lord, obviously when you are in the situation, Krishna will come and protect. Or sometimes maybe Krishna thinks that this is best for you to leave this place and go back to spiritual world. So we might think, oh, why did Krishna not protect me? I have been doing bhakti for so long. But he let it happen. But yes, at that time Krishna will, perhaps he says, he has given you this body, some lease. Just like we lease a house, the moment the lease is over, we have to vacate. Maybe for you, based on your previous karma or our previous karma, so our lifespan is only that many years. And it so happened that usually we think if you die at the age of 100, maybe it looks like it is natural. But the people don't want to die even if they are 100. There are people who are 108. So when they were in difficulty, when they were having some health problem or about to die, but they also seek help of doctors and so many things to protect. Sometimes people, oh, this person has lived 100 years, 108. In other country, people have lived 109. The government will say, just to satisfy their ego, that in our place people can live longer. They will find best doctors and try to somehow elongate to 110, just for ego satisfaction. But if Supreme Lord says that you are only awarded this much, that will be this much. Yes, sometime by blessing of a devotee, you can elongate. Markandeya, when he was born, so he was told that he will only live 16 years. But Markandeya has performed so much of seva to some of the sannyasis. So they blessed him, live forever. So at that time, Lord, okay, all right. So you have a blessing from Prabhupada, no problem. I will let you go and come into Vaikuntha, live more years. Yes, we have to make endeavor, we have to do bhakti. Then that doesn't mean that we can demand Krishna. Krishna, I have done so much of bhakti, you protect me. Otherwise, I will not believe in your power. You can't challenge Krishna. Krishna is supreme. Correct? He will decide whatever you want. But if he is taking order from you, then he is no more supreme. Correct? Krishna is supreme as long as everything is happening by will. But if other people are ordering him, the demons are ordering him, devotees are ordering him, everyone is ordering him to do what they want, then he is no more supreme. Yeah. So Krishna is supreme. Only by will his way happens. But yes, by blessings of devotees, the life can be elongated. But if Krishna desires that it is good for you to come back, then that's what happens. Sometimes, we have seen examples during COVID and other times. Sometimes we pray, chant so much, the devotees survive. Sometimes it may not happen. So this is a Supreme Lord will. Yeah. Of course, so therefore, that doesn't mean that we can be careless and then let that person die, not take to doctor. We need to do our attempt, endeavor, both spiritual and material. But finally, we have to realize that it is the Lord will, ultimately. Yeah. Make sense?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.